I've highlighted you for years. And on the International Women's Day, I was like, just wanted to give a shout out to some of these incredible women in Houston who I've met over the years who have done such great things in their personal life, professional life. And you really are the lady behind Chick-fil-A. I remember when you came to town with this incredible concept. And from there, you have gone on to your own boutique award-winning marketing firm. And I just wanted to just talk to you and see if you could encourage women to on how you did it. What is your driving force? What's your motivation? What are steps that you took to get to where you are today? Because I swear, it's been over 20 years.
Yeah, I'm old.
No, we're not old.
I have been called the Chick in Chick-fil-A before, and it was funny when somebody called me that the first time, but it's actually a really sweet compliment because I'm 23 years serving one of the world's most coveted brands of Chick-fil-A, working alongside, they've been my client since the very beginning. It's a beautiful relationship that I've just been super fortunate to have. And so I'm honored to just talk about what I know about them and what I know about how I've grown my agency alongside that brand and the privilege and the gift that I've had of working with them for all these years. It's been a beautiful journey for sure.
I remember us sitting down, I think Mark Sherman, it was a Sunny crew, and we're sitting down with you and you're presenting that we're at a restaurant, not Chick-fil-A, I can't remember where we were, somewhere maybe in the Galleria.
Yeah.
And you're presenting us with this concept. And my question is, how did you even come up with this idea? How did you get the confidence to say, I can do this. I can get the media in Houston. And I know Houston media, we have been so good to Chick-fil-A. And because of you and you guiding us, what were some of the steps that you took to begin this massive campaign?
Well, are you talking about the VIP party?
No, this was before the VIP party. I don't know if you remember, we were sitting at a table at a restaurant. And you're talking to us about, us endorsing Chick-fil-A and what we could do. This was before your big Chick-fil-A, the Black Card Party. This was the very beginning.
I think one of the big things that people miss in business all the time is the relational aspect. And certainly COVID has really caused that too, right? Where people just aren't taking the time to truly get engaged in the relational side. And I have always believed since the very beginning of business about giving people 15 minutes of my time. And what I have found along the way is that you never know in the beginning, I think, especially I started my business when I was 16, as you know, 26, as you know. And in the beginning of starting my business, I think I had the right amount of grit. I probably had a little bit of grace, but I probably had a lot of arrogance in that mixture too, right? And when you're 26, you really you lean into business thinking, I've got this, I know what I'm doing. But when you're 26, you really don't. My parents were both entrepreneurs, and I had a lot of help, and I had a lot of people cheering for me. And quite frankly, I had a history leaning into those 26 years of media and a lot of relationships that I was super grateful for. But I think that what I learned about giving those 15 minutes to people was that you never know if you're going to be the giver or the getter. And in the beginning of my career, I really felt like that because I had Chick-fil-A as my primary client at the agency, that people always wanted from what I had. They wanted free chicken, or they wanted something that of a brand that I represented within my agency. So I always felt like I was going to be the giver in those conversations. But really what I realized, and you know, Dana, that I'm a woman of faith. And what I realized really quickly was that you have to be open to be the getter. And most of the time when I'm hustling to get to one of these meetings, because I've agreed to have lunch with somebody when I didn't have the time on my calendar to do it, or breakfast or whatever it is, most of the time that's when I was most surprised by the fact that I was getting more than I was giving. And I always felt so grateful for when I said yes to giving somebody 15 minutes, and it never really was 15 minutes, but like, if you agree to get together with somebody and you start with the relationship and you start with the, hey, how are you? Who are you? What are you? At the end of the day, I know they needed something from me. They needed, or they wanted something, whether it was a relationship with a client that I had, or maybe they wanted some, free Chick-fil-A. But look, at the end of the day, what I learned is that they didn't come for the chicken. They came for the relational aspect. They came because they believed in something more than what they really wanted. Yes, they might have wanted or needed the original ask, but they really wanted to be closer to the brand at heart. And so I think that original conversation that we had originally, what I love about it is that the brand of Chick-fil-A, in my opinion, what I've learned about it in my 23 years of working with it, is that it is so different from every other brand. And when you can sit down and tell the story, the remarkable story of how the brand comes to life, and especially in Chick-fil-A Houston, which is where we met, representing the owners and operators of that brand here in Houston, it's not just turnkey. It's about relationships. It's about people. It's about human interest. It's about the team members in the restaurant. All of those things go into how the chicken tastes. And so you have to unpack all of that in order for you, Dana, for you and Mark, to really build the best marketing campaign for me on air. You have to tell all those stories. And once people start understanding the brand from the inside out, you actually get a better marketing strategy from your partners. And so I would say those 15 minutes are critical for a business, but it's actually most critical for your heart and soul, because you just never know. Are you a getter or a giver? And
Tina, you say that, and I've always loved you. Now, when I met you, you had no children. I think you had just gotten married, or maybe you were newly pregnant. I can't remember, but
I
both
was
of us were
pregnant a
just,
lot for many years.
yeah, me too, right? So a lot of our job in the media is going out and meeting people. I was always the MC queen, going to all these galas. I committed to the Leukemia Society, the 100 Club, Star of Hope. I would do all these things with little babies running around. I remember getting ready for these events going, I can't do it all. But here was what I always said. If someone said to me, and for you, it's your 15 minutes. For me, it was, we'd be honored if you would do such and such.
Yeah.
And I always said, if someone said to me that they would be honored for me to come up and help them get their program, from beginning to end and make some money, how could I say no to that? I'm also a woman of faith. I love Jesus. I read, I don't know how I could do this without Jesus. But when I started saying that, I would get such a calm about these events. Doesn't mean I don't get nervous. Doesn't mean I'm still not, I'm frazzled working up to it and getting there on time. But at the end of these events, the relationships, the meetings, my heart is overflowing just from that commitment I made to myself, to a person or an organization in need that would be honored if I would help them out.
Yeah, impact. And I think that's really the basis of just good business. It's finding what you love and then falling in love with what you love, and obviously figuring out how to make money at it, if you're able to. But I love the basis that we can take that character trait and for you and the microphone that you have and the audience that you have, just taking that character trait and giving it back. And it is a time commitment. So I don't want to mistake the fact that I do have to give my time. And I think time is precious. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, when I walk into those meetings and I think to myself, okay, why did I say yes to this person? I don't know them. And there are a million people on my calendar that I wish that I could have. I wish that I could have given more time to, or I wish that I should have given more time to, but yet I'm here with this person. You just I have to just sit back and say, am I a giver or am I a getter? Sometimes it's really important to be a giver. There's a story in there somewhere that they might need that could forever change their trajectory. Yes. And I would actually share this information too, that someone told me one time that 10% more effort actually could produce 100% different outcome. And so I think about that all the time, because part of my thought process is the difference between being ordinary and extraordinary is just effort. it really is just effort. And so when I think about like, and my kids who now are 12, 14, and 16, and they're all girls. And so my children don't always appreciate this, about mom, but like when I think about this with my children, I think like the difference in being remarkable is effort. Get up and do it. Apply it. What are you going to do with at the end of the day with that extra effort that you didn't give? What does that get you? It gets you nothing, because you end up giving it to social media, or you give it to nonsense anyway. It's not like you're saving all your effort to run a marathon at the end of the day, right? Like,
Right.
So my point is this: like, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is effort. And so my thought process is 10% is not a lot. It's not like to make an impact in this world, to really go and make change for somebody requires a monumental effort. It doesn't. It requires 10%, but potentially less. But in this example, I would say 10%. But it could make 100% different in someone's life. And so I use that all the time. Like with my children, with my people at work, I think 10% more effort produces 100% different result. And that actually is something that I heard at a Chick-fil-A conference one time.
I love it. You're exactly the food I needed today. I mean, it's so funny. I said, you said, how long is this podcast? I said, between 15 and 20 minutes. So you're giving me 15 minutes because I needed to hear what you said, which will help me and help my children. And you, as a wise mom, and I was just telling Joe, who is running our Zoom right now, wait until you're the parent of adult children, because he's got two precious little children. It's very hard being the parent of adult children who have children.
Yeah.
And that's where I am right now in my life. So what I always told my kids, do hard things. Do hard things, because it's in the discomfort that you grow. I said, don't seek comfort, seek discomfort, or actually discomfort. And I get a lot of like, no, don't like it. What kind of advice do you have? Little mottos for your kids? I love what you just taught us. Is there some quick thing that you say to your kids that motivates them, and at the same time they still love you?
Yeah.
You don't irritate them.
Oh, that's a fine line, isn't it?
Yes.
One of the things I constantly say to my children is, it is what it is, but it becomes what we make of it. And I think it's just a reality. Like, life gives you what it's going to give you, and it is what it is. But the only way to get out and make it better is for you to make it better. And so it only becomes what you want to make of it. And so you can go full-fledged and make it remarkable, or you can laissez-faire and make it just somewhat better, or you could do nothing and it could just suck. So it is what it is, but it becomes what you make of it. And I printed it out and had it taped on my mirror in my bathroom for years. And so my children roll my eyes when I say it, but I really do hope that one day they'll pass that along to their kiddos, or maybe in their thought process when they're in college. Right now they're in drama teenage years, so who knows what they do with that information.
God bless you, Mom. Do they want to come and work for you? Do you think they will be coming to your business?
I've got a hard no from 3 children on that, Dana.
That's today, though. That is today. Once they get older and they see how cool Mom is, then they might change. They might improve what you've got.
Let's hope. That I'm building a better generation.
Would you tell us a little bit about your business, and then I'll let you go on to have the next 15 minutes with someone who needs you?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that I love about Mind Dance is that we are carefully curating brands that are especially in the QSR industry. So franchise concepts, let's say. So quick service restaurant franchise concepts. So I love working with brands that are 20 to 30, maybe 40 restaurants, and they're looking to grow. A lot of the work that we do is for mergers and acquisitions. So brands will come to us and they'll say, hey, I have 20 to 30 restaurants. It could be a coffee shop, it could be a full drive-through concept, or it could be a sit-down fine dining concept. And they'll say, hey, we're wanting to grow, and we're wanting to go national with our brand. And it's our job to really build a brand for them. Lots of them don't have guardrails, they don't have systems and processes, they don't have structure, they don't have campaigns, they don't have annual planning in place. And we really build that for them. And then what happens is that about 5 or maybe 7 years into it, they start getting a lot of eyeballs from investors or people that want to buy them up. And so then typically we help walk them through that process where they'll get bought up and they'll get sold. And sometimes the investors will take us with them on their next journey, or sometimes the investors will say, hey, thank you. We just had a company that got bought up by a giant organization. And of course, they have their own people. And so we said goodbye and farewell and good luck to that brand. And they'll go do great things with them. And we'll turn our attention to some other brands. But
that is so cool.
It's super fun.
How did you get the name? Where did the name come from?
Yeah, so I was 26, as I said, and my mom was harassing me and said, go to the courthouse and take care of this business. And I was on the phone with a friend who was on the phone with a friend. This is back before cell phones. And a guy in California said, hey, what about the name Mind Dance Marketing? It'll be like all those thoughts that are in your head just circulating around. It'll be your job to choreograph them. And I said, oh, like mind dance, like all those thoughts that are like dancing around in your head. And then I'll turn them into a symphony of strategic marketing plans. And we were all like, yep, that's it. And so off I went to the courthouse, and that's been the name.
That is amazing. That is such a great story. And you really have had a great story here in Houston, making our city. I mean, these events that you put on with Chick-fil-A for the media, and the public is not even aware of this. You would bring in the founders of Chick-fil-A, some amazing motivational speakers. So the media here in Houston, and we've got great media, could learn the Chick-fil-A story. I've never had any other group do something like what you've done to help us love a brand. And then the brand follows through and lives up to the expectations you've given us. So it's amazing.
It's a remarkable brand. It's just been a privilege to be part of the brand. But I'll tell you, one of the things about this brand that just sets them apart is just the people, the operators, the team members. It's the culture of care. It goes far beyond the food and far beyond the four walls of the restaurant. And one of the things about Mind Dance that I would be remiss if I didn't say, I was 26 when I started this business. Chick-fil-A was my very first client. So as I've grown and Chick-fil-A has grown, a lot of the way that I have built my business has been because of my the influence that I've had with Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
And just been walking beside such a remarkable company like Chick-fil-A. And so I've been really, really I think it's been a gift to have been so close to a company like Chick-fil-A. And so a lot of people that know me know that my brand really emulates a lot of the things that I love about Chick-fil-A. So we don't serve chicken at Mind Dance, but we have a lot of other things that look a lot like Chick-fil-A inside our walls.
You do. An incredible character. And I knew our listeners are going to learn a lot from you. So and our viewers, I just wanted to just hear your story and see how you've grown in confidence, in beauty over the years as a mom and as an incredible award-winning business owner. Tina, just thank you so much for your time and all you've done for our city. You are a remarkable lady, and we're blessed to have you.
Well, as they say at Chick-fil-A, it's my great pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
You take care of yourself, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.